This week's PowerPoint presentation relates to universal access. So what is universal access? Universal access refers to a concept that applies to all content areas, not just PE, where we ensure that we're providing high-quality curriculum instruction to all students. And all students include students with special needs. Students with special needs include a variety of students in a PE class. Marginalized students would be students who are male or female that may experience some stereotypes about their ability to learn PE, just from a traditional perspective of who's best at PE. It may also include students who are taller or smaller or perhaps have a larger than normal size than their classmates, and they may be marginalized. It could include students with cultural and religious differences, and we need to be aware of the customs that may impact a student's ability to participate in PE. English learners would be considered part of this group, as would at-risk students who are falling behind in their skills and abilities in PE. Students with medical needs, either short-term or long-term, advanced learners, and students with identified disabilities that may be on IEPs or 504 plans. Some aspects of creating an inclusive environment include making sure that our materials and equipment that we use are inclusive, and that might mean making sure that we utilize equipment that all students can access, and we have a variety of equipment for different levels of learners. It also might mean that we differentiate our strategies so that we vary the pacing of our lessons, sometimes accelerating them for advanced learners, sometimes slowing them down for learners that are struggling. We vary the complexity of our lessons depending on the ability level of students. We vary the depth of the content that we utilize based on students' skill level and ability level. And we try to utilize novelty whenever possible. When creating an inclusive environment, there are several keys to success. One would be make sure that students feel comfortable asking questions. Another key would be using a variety of ways to explain concepts so that, depending on a student's learning style, they understand what it is you're asking of them. Allowing students to demonstrate their understanding of concepts in a variety of ways, in other words, using multiple ways to measure their competence, is also supportive of an inclusive environment. And checking for understanding frequently is also a way to make sure students are getting what you wanted them to out of a PE lesson. Adaptations in PE involve both accommodations and modifications. Accommodations address the needs of students while keeping the same performance expectation or performance outcome expectation. That might include varying the time students are allowed to complete a task, the level of support given to students while completing a task, or the level of difficulty. Modifications, on the other hand, do alter the performance so that although it approximates the standard, students don't necessarily show mastery of that standard. So you may alternate the goals of that particular lesson or provide a substitute curriculum for certain students. Adaptations for students with disabilities are varied and may include everything from varying the formation of a class to changing the form or the language used to explain a concept in class, the type of equipment used, the task itself, varying the environment, alternating student grouping, or possibly the rules of a particular game or activity so that all students can participate. Your reading this week relates to different examples from each of these categories so that you know ways that you can accommodate students who do have disabilities in your classroom.